just go practice. But, I mean, listen, some people are going to get upset by it. They're going to think he's a jerk. He's here for a job. He's here to win. It's because he's not able to practice.
Yeah, I'm a pool fan,
just,
right?
And just
I'm
go
a
practice.
fan now. Used to be a player, but I'm a pool fan.
Listen, some people are going to get upset by it. They're going to think he's a jerk.
The sport is that we can
he's
go
here
right
for a
up
job.
and talk to a player.
He's here to win.
It's very
It's because he's not able to practice.
Yeah, I'm a pool, and now at Fedor's level, which is, in my opinion, the highest level we've seen reached as far as stardom in the sport. A lot due to social media, but all the work he's put in and the image he's created, it can now backfire on him because he still has to keep that, talent up, right? And it's a fine line. And I think you're right with the headphones. I think that's probably what it's going to result to.
Well, I mean that was my suggestion to him. The other thing is
you hire somebody to keep people away from you when you go to practice.
Well, I mean, and I even made the suggestion to him today. I said, go into Omega's room and practice, and I'll tell people you're practicing.
That's what it comes.
Come back after the match. I mean, he said no, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that to his fans.
Yeah, but what ends up suffering in the long run is his pool game, right? So tough. I was alluding to that.
Burnout too. Burnout.
Yeah, you're gonna get burnt out. So tough to keep that desire.
Well, successful break there, and much needed rack here for Fedor Gorst.
He's one of those players, man. I'll tell you what, I watched him in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, you and I were talking in the finals, one of the biggest tournament in the history of night pool. There were so many matches that we could say he should have lost, and I watched it with my own eye. Always find a way to win. It's just who he is. It's in his blood. He cannot stomach losing.
Mm-hmm. He's absolutely a winner, but also I call it the Fedor effect.
Oh, it's bigger than Efren's effect was.
People dog it to him.
Yeah,
they really. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. They dog it to him because they know they have to play perfect. But right now, Fedor fighting some demons, overshooting his mark there. That long rail really bounced on him. You saw him push into the cushion there, like, what the heck? How did that ball bounce like that?
Yeah, and I don't think Levan's the type that's just going to dog it to him either.
No.
Right? He has body movement, he has whatever, but Levan's been playing these guys forever, so he's not going to just fall over for Fedor. But there's a lot of guys that do.
There's a lot of guys that do. You're right, though. Levan's not one of them.
No.
He is a Filipino killer.
He sure is. Yep.
Definitely battle-tested.
Yeah, he was kind of playing both balls there with a...
I think he's going to fluke the 7 in.
3. Now...
He got tied up there.
Got to come with a jump?
I don't know if there's... Is there any future in the jump?
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what else you'd do. You see enough of it to just float it down and use the 9. I don't know. Going to the jump cue. Is the 4 nearest the 8? I believe it could be the 7 nearest the 8.
And airborne once again we go. He's going to like the result here, Scott.
No, not the way this table's bouncing. Rails seem real hot. Tells me the tables are pretty wet due to the temperature change in here today.
Tell you what, beautiful weather here in St. Augustine, Florida.
Yeah, it is. Came from Phoenix. It's perfect there as well.
Like 80 degrees here today. teetering on that situation we were talking about in the alternate break format here. Levan is to capture this rack and take a 7-3 lead. He will be breaking the balls as well.
Yeah, he's got to come around table here. Got options. Does he draw out of this or does he go 3 rails? The 9, a big ball.
Yeah, I'm like you. I think he's going to go 3 rails, but guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is he'd like to get behind this 7 ball, meaning on the, on the right end of that long rail over there towards the first diamond, play to the left side pocket if he could somehow. I don't know that it's possible. Is the carom on the 8 available, or is that even worth taking a chance on? I think he's got to try to get closer behind the 7 somewhere here. Now he's looking at the carom.
Like you, I think you got to go ahead and get through this ball, though, and either get on the long rail on the right-hand side or maybe even go into the balls.
Yeah, take your chance there, even if you have to go into them. I'd rather be closer to this ball than further away. 9 really is a problem here, though, if you want to wrap it with speed around to get to the back side of it. So he's probably just going to take his medicine and come out here. Now he's looking at. I thought he might be able to use a stun low ball here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he can beat the 9. I think he can come out underneath the 9.
Yeah, he can if he doesn't hit it too hard. But if he tries to hit it with speed, that cue ball is going to bend, I think, a little bit, right? And warp up to the bottom side of it. It all depends on how hard he hits it. Oh, he had plenty of room to your point. He's over
the ball.
Yeah, that's ideal.
I like that. I really did.
Yeah, taking the chance, right?
Either you get behind the balls and you can play safe, or you run into the balls. I mean, you had to get pretty unfortunate there to run into that 7 ball, not come out with something.
Yeah, and this is not a good sign for Gorst. At his opportunities. Really, the one that sticks out to me is the 5. I think he just decelled on it a little bit. The edge of the rail and the ball held up here in the lower right corner. Really going to sting.
Even 2 balls away from going up 7-3 here. Race to 10, alternate break. Will be Levan's break as well. This is the 3rd round here at the International Open in St. Augustine, Florida. Very first year here. Venue.
Oh, look at the ball spring.
Yeah, it's definitely getting in that danger zone right here. The Gorst camp.
The 10. Also, like you said, Levan a break. At what point do you rely on a little bit of luck? I think it's pretty much there at that point now. Needs a couple things to go his way and capitalize as well. Yeah, what a nice room this is. Mega action room. How tight is the table that I'm looking at, Jason?
That's from the U.S. Open, so that's 4 inches.
Oh, wow. Right.
A pretty nice shot of the referee right there. Looks like matching hair with the uniform. Something you would do, Scott.
Yeah.
I wonder if she has silver shoes on, too.
The key to that, Jay, is that I don't have to color my hair anymore.
Yeah, but your shoes are always matching your outfit. That's one
I've
thing.
kind of gotten away with that. I've gotten away from that in the last 10 years.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, I have.
Usually you have a matching watch, matching shoes.
I've definitely gotten away from the matching watches.
I'll leave in getting a couple kisses there.
Yeah, and he's gonna have a tester out of the gate here with the blue too. It's not guaranteed position either. He's gonna have to put something on it. Maybe just a touch of right.
Maybe even just a high ball, right? Like,
yeah, the 3 down here below the 9. I feel like it might require a little inside.
That's
just a little.
This is ultra tough with just a high ball. Introduce a little bit of inside. It's almost not even worth shooting, I think.
Just the way the table's bouncing. Like the 4 over here could really be a big ball if you just use a flat high ball.
This is, like you said, this is a tester here. And decides to do.
Get into the cue ball real well, so he's nice and level. A touch, just half a tip of inside on it. Yeah.
Did just that, and he drilled it. What a nice shot there. But it almost overran the mark. Let's see those rails are, Scott.
Yeah, they're playing pretty hot. A lot of people in the room.
Out there, though. Very well done by Lee Van.
Yeah. And
one behind the back here.
Awkward here. Up and down. This is going to bounce. Really bounce. Turned out just fine.
Absolutely perfect, really.
Believe it or not, I still feel like this is a little tricky.
Yeah, I mean,
he'd like to get all the way out towards the center here, so he can just come up one rail. He doesn't want to cut the 6, and that's what he's trying to do. I think this will hold with an inside ball.
I think we'll see him go ahead and go all the way around here.
Yeah, you can just, the cue ball can get away from you there if you come all the way around.
Going to use inside, like you said.
Yeah, just because he doesn't want to end up straight or long on the 8. Look at how the ball is biting. Oh, it is definitely.
It's got a little awkward here, Scott.
Oyster in there.
Could be straight here.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason that he played the cue ball the way he did the shot prior, is just so he could get out towards the center and carry an angle on the 8. But the cue ball bit on him so much here that, well, he got where he would have gotten if he would have gone with an outside ball on the 6.
You going to have to go forward here?
No, that's very missable then.
Whew.
I don't think he can risk going forward.
Treacherous here. He may have a little bit more angle than it appears.
Oh, he was pretty flat. It's about as fortunate or as good as he could get. He knew he was probably going into the 9 the whole time there.
Similar to the 6 ball we saw him miss. Kind of close to it. A little bit off angle.
Yeah, and the comfort these players is typically to go to the side here, but I feel like the corner is a bigger pocket. Gonna go to the side.
Got there by Lee Van. Continues his run. 8-3 is the score here.
Yeah, and that's what Lee Van will do, right? Doesn't matter who he's playing. He doesn't have that effect. He will take advantage of any errors and just kind of gotten away from better. Come with, I don't know what he's come with, 4 or 5 amazing jump shots this match. Really just never finished the job, those racks.
Yeah, just too many unforced errors. 5 ball, missed the 8 ball. The 8 ball was tough, but you expected him to get out there. Like you said, that stemmed from coming up short from the 7 to the 8. And that crazy rack that was about 20 innings on the 7 ball.
Yeah, that was a huge rack. That was a huge rack.
And the miss on the 5.
And to follow that up, that was
Well,
really
no.
the dagger there.
Well, and then the hook, when he hooked himself on the 7 to the 6. Remember when he
Yeah,
got,
but that wasn't that off a jump shot.
no, he got perfect on the 5 ball with an angle and stayed behind the 7, hooked himself on the 6. He missed the 5. He missed an 8 ball. He missed a 5 ball. He hooked himself from the 5 to the 6.
Yeah,
So
probably 5 or 6 errors.
Yeah.
Pretty big errors.
If he can clean them up here, Scott, apply a little pressure to Lee Van.
I'll tell you what, this is what he does best. I don't know that I've seen too many players come from behind like Gorst, but not going to get it done like this. He's going to come up dry. Got to be frustrating as well, because you want to, I don't want to harp on the subject, but I think about it a lot being in Fedor's position. A lot of people oblivious to it. He's so much busier than most people really think, and the expectations that are warranted on him can really become heavy. And when you finally do get an opportunity to practice in public, you can't. When you need to, you can't. It can really, I can assume it could really be heavy.
Well, y'all, the other thing is taking off the WPA events. He traveled to New Zealand and to all those tournaments with Christina didn't play. So he took some extended time off. Obviously had a nice result at the Puerto Rico Open, coming runner-up to Vitaly at Sura. They had a nice event there, but very much a creature of habit and likes to practice, likes to, feel his arm.
Yeah, his game
going.
is designed around practice, right? That's how, those fundamentals, just really who he is.
Look at this cue ball here by Lee Van, really torturing him.
Yeah, and add insult to injury, I think he's moved the 5 enough where the 2 is playable to the top right corner. Torture is a great word.
If you're Fedor here, you just have to give a ton of care to this kick. Might be your last opportunity.
Yeah, and it's not easy either. We were just touching on this last match. You're going to a bare ball out in the middle of the table with massive spin. So tough to judge, and he's overcooked it. The rails are really grabbed. That's why that happened. On newer cloth, you expect the cue ball to kind of slide off that rail versus grab. Just overcooked it.
A tricky little out here, Scott.
Yeah, the 3 down here low. Oh, the 4 and 8. 2 up there nearest the 5. I thought he moved the 5 out of the way enough to where the 2 goes. I don't think he'd be acting like this if that was the case.
Oh, he's drawing up the carom, it appears.
Boy, I almost like coming below the 2-5 here. It's something I would consider, right? Because you could really wedge Fedor up under that 5 and use these balls down low if you don't want to take the carom chance.
What about going into him? Ball in hand here.
Yeah, just how do you go into him? Off the long rail on the right side?
Yeah, off the long rail on the right side. You just hit above the side pocket.
I think the problem there, though, is, Jay, if you do happen to miss him doing that, then the defensive play is that much tougher.
Yeah, but you still have a wall of balls up here where you could thin the 2 some type of way. Looking for something to stay offensive if I'm Lee Van.
Yeah, that's why I like going below it. I feel like you can play it in the left side pocket. If you don't get perfect, you can just really stitch him up.
2 rails into him. Got just a flick. Not enough, Scott. I like the play. I mean, I think it came out as poorly as it could have for Lee Van. He still has an opportunity.
Yeah, I think there's other players that would have played that differently. I mean, you can't fault him for what he chose.
I mean, at this level, I'm never gonna second guess a player being offensive.
I fully agree.
But
Right. I
I
think
agree
that
with what you said too, though. He could have gone offensive and given himself a better defensive option if he didn't get there.
right, especially as good as he laid him up the shot prior. So I know a lot of Europeans that would have just wedged better up there, and Fedor might have wedged better up there.
Yeah, but nonetheless, Levan did enough to get the first shot here.
Yeah, the 2 does pass the 7, right?
Yeah.
He's looking at it like it's close. Maybe.
He may have to touch a little bit of the rail. I think it goes. Right in.
Yeah, does he stay on the bottom side of this 4, or do you try and get above it and hold? That's a little dangerous. It'd be better to stay on the lower end here, but
Yeah, I don't disagree. Leads you to the 5 as long as you get on the proper angle.
you just don't want that cue ball taken off on you trying to draw this and get out towards the 6 somewhere. See, this is
exactly what you said.
this is the problem, trying to draw that ball off a springy table.
It was just so simple to just stay below it, wasn't it, Scott? Like, it was just, I know players don't like to shoot that.
Yeah, just a drag ball, stay low. You've got so many options that way. This is just what the doctor ordered for Gorst. He needed a miracle, and I believe he's gotten one. Early in game number 12.
It was really all about a decision, wasn't it, Scott?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's made a couple awkward decisions here late. Yeah, and he might have got away with this. Now, I think Fedor can chop this in the middle.
Yeah, but what's the cue ball going to do?
I think it's good. I think you can miss the 9 and the 7, come up between the 7, 8, and 6. Lay over there on that left long rail. I think he's okay here, believe it or not. Unless this camera angle is completely misleading me, which due to where the 4 is, I believe this is makeable with a thin ball, and you just swing the cue ball 2 to 3 rails up to that left long rail.
He's waiting on the table next to him. Like, that's Robbie Capito's stroke there. Top left-hand corner of our screen.
He had a pretty big win here. What was it? Was it the European Open?
Oh,
He had a pretty big win this year and a little quiet afterwards.
player, though.
Yes, he is.
See if Fedor can make a run here.
Just know this cue ball is going to really bounce off this bottom rail.
And it did. You were right. Had the perfect line to get right where he needed to go. Wouldn't all the traffic there, Scott.
Yeah, I got a little fortunate there that all he had to do was really put the focus into the make.
And the winner of this match will play the winner of Robbie Capito and Jonas Suto. And Robbie Capito leading 8-7 right now, Scott.
Close.
Barn burner there. Table 5.
Still haven't pegged Suto's game. I've watched him play some, and boy, he's got a real high gear.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of upside in his game. Entertaining to watch as well.
Falling on the low side of the 6. Ball got a little hot there. It's not going to be a problem. 7 is. 3 rails here.
Might actually be a little better. Getting an opportunity to touch some rails and feel it. You know, in these situations where you've missed your mark and your cue ball's been bad, sometimes it's a little good to work the cue ball in a wide zone just to kind of feel it.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to fall victim to the same thing that Corteza did last shot, so he's going to play the wise move and just come 1 rail over, playing the 8 either to the top left or the middle, depending on where he ends up here. But that's the right play. That's the mature play. It's the same thing that Corteza could have done earlier in this game.
Yeah, I think we'll see him take this one in the side. A little easier to gain position on the 9. Shooting it that way. Drag it out above it. 2 balls away here.
Too little, too late. He really seems to dial in when his back's against the wall, but touching on the alternate break format.
That's this right here. This match right here is proving our point, I think.
Well,
maybe. I mean, you don't know. Maybe he comes back and it makes it that much more exciting.
That being said, I'm going to find out. I'm going to ask Mark Wilson to highlight what Pat's found over the years, because they do stats, right? Stats. They're very good at it. He was adamant that Pat has proven that the alternate break format has really equaled out or leveled out, just like the winter break format over the years.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what that stat is. I'm not refuting it. I'm just saying that in general, for me, when I'm watching or I'm thinking about what makes the best tournament, it's what does the spectator like to watch.
I think it all has to do with pocket size as well, though. I go back to that.
But
I don't want to sound like a broken record,
but even if it is pocket size, and I don't disagree with your point, like the tight pockets neutralizes the break. It gives you a lot more play.
Right.
And the alternate break format is supposed to give you a lot more play.
Well, I commentate for Matchroom, right? And very rarely do we see somebody break and run 4 racks, if we see it ever. If we see it ever.
But the fact of the point is winter break, you can grab the table and
control it.
And keep it. You don't have to break and run to keep the table.
Sure. I could play devil's advocate to that, though.
If you're breaking and making the 1 ball successfully and you're controlling the table, you don't have to break and run. You don't have to break and run to keep the table. It doesn't have to be a package.
No, absolutely. It's all about control, right?
Especially at this level. And that, that's the advantage of the alternate break format, is always have a chance to defend yourself, right?
Agreed. Where I think, and I'm trying to be biased here, but that's where I think the beauty of the game in the 1 pocket lies, right? Where you're going to get a chance to defend yourself.
Right.
And I think that they're trying to make the game a little bit more like that. Whereas, and I go back to the pockets again, if you have big pockets, then of course you can't defend yourself when it's a winter break. But if the pockets are tighter, I think it makes a difference.
No, I agree with you. Either way.
But he's going to have to push out here. So there's another opportunity for Gorst to at least gain control, whether he likes it or not. It all depends on how much of this 3 on the lower right side he can catch. Without the kiss, he'd like to be able to send the 3 back up to the top rail and use the 8 and 9 here, but I think the kiss is on. I think
he's giving this one back. I don't know how you take this one on.
Not going to double jump this for sure. Yeah, I think Lee Van might have wanted to put a little more thought into that layout. Push out. I don't exactly know where else he could have gone, though.
You going to introduce an extreme spin here? Oh, he went offensive on the thing.
Boy, he had a lot. Fedor's gotten away with that, but boy, the kiss was nowhere in play, so I'm a little surprised that Fedor even passed that up, actually.
I thought he was thinner on that.
Same here.
Yeah, nonetheless, he's hit the window. Fedor with an opportunity here. Lee Van's break as well. It feels like it's now or never, Scott. Can't afford another error.
Yeah, he needs this to run. I think he's going to get it just barely. Yeah, he might have to just come 1 rail back up. He draw out of this. He's able to punch. Fedor a huge fan of the outside ball.
Definitely prefers to hit it with a firm stroke if he can. Doesn't like slow rolling anything. A lot of center ball.
Very well judged.
Like you said, though, Scott, your point earlier, the cue ball is really taking a lot of spin off these rails.
Yeah, and that's what will happen when there's a little moisture on the cloth. Nothing wrong with it if you know it's going to happen, right? Just part of the game.
Actually, I prefer it.
Absolutely.
If you know it's going to happen, I prefer that, to be able to spin the ball and take away some of that slide.
These guys just aren't used to that.
Right. At 8-5. Better to break. Wonder if that's a wig, Scott. Is that a wig or is that just die?
Oh,
I'm gonna
but it's
go
a
ask
clean
her.
cut. I know that. It's a clean cut. Well, I tell you what. I mean, if Fedor breaks and runs here, within 2, pressure starts to lie back on Corteza. What was the biggest deficit? What was the score?
8-3, right?
Yeah.
I think 5 games.
Funny things happen. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like how Fedor came back. Saudi Arabia in some of these matches. Just insane. And you just got to a point where you knew he was coming back. 4 or 5 matches, I think. He was, like, completely dead. Found a way to win.
Desperately needs a successful break. We've yet to see him have a really successful break, Scott. He hasn't, I don't think he's broken around any racks. Maybe one. I've seen him make the one ball one time in this match. Up dry, at least the last 2. Better right now is the time to find the break. Be able to make a ball so you can defend.
Yeah.
Really got to keep Levan off the hill here, Scott.
No, I agree. I don't know how the table's breaking because that too changes with humidity, but I feel like the more of the one that these guys are catching, the more it's going in the side here at this venue.
If there was ever a time for a golden break, now's it.
And just a little thin on the one. It comes just short. The right side.
But he got a ball down, Scott.
Got a good look.
No, he did not get a ball down.
Yeah, he is dry.
Dry as a bone. Levan got the good look.
And the one catching the point. Short side. That side pocket. Oh.
We do have a couple balls tied up here. Right over Levan's left shoulder.
Yeah, the 6 and 8, I believe.
Like the combos there, though, Scott.
It is. It's not big problems. This is really a little tricky. He's got to come out between the... Oh, he's tried to come above it, so it's going to really spring on him. I can't believe if he was playing that to the side. I just don't feel like he was playing the 2 to the left side that whole time, but maybe he was.
Take his medicine here and play it in the top left, or...
Yeah, and this is falling perfect.